I'm Justin Perkins. This is Talk Junkie. That's our 80s funk intro that I made. That means that today is going to be at least some sort of a retrocast in a way, which means we're going to talk about a lot more fun stuff than we've normally been talking about, and a lot of it's probably going to be 80s based, so buckle up. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm super excited. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about right now on this podcast, and then the next podcast I got planned. I don't know what order these will be released. Sometimes I mix things up, things of that nature, but the next two are going to be fun, and I enjoy fun podcasts. Can't help it. I've said this on the podcast numerous times. I do something that my wife finds very weird. And I don't know if everybody does this or not. I believe they do to an extent. I believe everybody does this with Christmas and Halloween, no doubt. I do, however, wonder how many people do this with Halloween. I basically have 3 big chunks of the year that I separate up. You know, you've got Christmas. You know, I lump Thanksgiving in there with it. You've got Halloween, and you've got summer. I love every season. I love every part of the year, and I love movies, and I love movies that are associated with certain times of the year. I can't wait for Halloween to do this list for Halloween, because I don't think I watch like mine's not going to be all slasher and everything like a lot of people do, which those movies are cool, and those movies are definitely a big part of Halloween, and we do incorporate those in our Halloween movie list. But I think it's going to be fun to maybe kind of get everybody else's list for those. So I'm going to kind of try to do some interactive stuff where I get everybody else's list for those before I do that actual episode. And Christmas, I can't wait for the Christmas one. I love Christmas. It and Halloween are my 2 favorite times of year. So, I'm big on Christmas music, especially Christmas movies. And I've got a huge list for that. I didn't get a chance to really sit down. I don't have a great memory. Just because I forget a movie doesn't mean it's like I could forget the movie I watched the most sometimes. So I like to sit down ahead of time and kind of pre-plan these out and even go through my collection and be like, okay, what's even in the watch pile? What's something, I forgot about that, because I do forget about movies quite often. It's not a reflection of the movie as much as it is myself. But today we're going to talk about summer movies. And this doesn't necessarily mean the movie's summer themed or even takes place in summer. It does for the most part for me. But it doesn't have to. Like, it's just something that for some reason when I watch that movie, it either makes me think of summer, or every year around summer I'll sit down to watch that movie. And like I said, I didn't get to sit down and go over things thoroughly, but I did split this into a couple lists. And what I want to do is I want to give you guys the list of the movies that I love to watch, and then the ones that I watch every year, and then some other ones that I'll watch here and there, but are considered to be big summer movies. The biggest thing for me is there are going to be movies I watch every single Christmas, no matter what. No matter how many times I've seen them, no matter what, it's not Christmas till I've watched those movies. Same way with Halloween, same way as summer. Excuse me. The first movie on that list for summer, hands down, is Caddyshack. When you're talking about 80s comedies, Bill Chevy, Eddie, Steve Martin, Dan Aykroyd, and John Candy are, to me, top notch. And that's what the next episode is going to be about, is basically my Mount Rushmore of 80s comedy. And to me, that's really comedy in general. That's kind of my favorite era of comedy. Not stand-up, but movies. But Caddyshack is a movie I'm going to watch every summer, no matter what. I don't know why. It's a summer movie to me, And it's not really summer until I've seen Caddyshack. And I've seen it at this point so many times that I don't have to see it all the way through. Like, catch it on TV, which I don't want to see. We don't actually have any type of cable or satellite anymore. We stream everything. But, used to I catch it on TV occasionally or on one of the movie channels. But now I just kind of put it on, and maybe if I'm busy writing or doing something, and catch my favorite parts and stuff. But still, at least once every couple of years, I'm going to sit down and watch that movie completely all the way through. I mean, it's not like it's the strongest Chevy Chase movie. Bill Murray is so good in that movie. And, everything was ad-libbed. They didn't like each other and having to work together. It was a great cast. I mean, I can't say enough about it. I love the movie. I love it from beginning to end. And it's one of those movies that it's a feel-good movie for me. It makes me happy, makes me feel good when I watch it. And I'm going to watch it to some degree every year. The Great Outdoors. Dan Aykroyd, John Candy. I'm going to watch The Great Outdoors all the way through every summer. And again, John Candy, Chevy Chase, and really, Bill Murray. Definitely Bill Murray and Chevy Chase. They have a movie on every one of these lists. I'm having to think right now. John Candy and Dan Aykroyd probably do as well. I don't know that Steve Martin has. Well, he has Planes and Trains. Yeah. Anyway. Great Outdoors. To me, in all honesty, for a more adult comedy, not like nasty comedy or anything, but more on the adult side, it may be the greatest summer movie of all time. And I add that caveat because of the movie that's going to be next. But to me, it's really hard to beat Great Outdoors. And like I said, I'm going to watch it every year. The next movie, the reason I add that caveat of adult, probably one of the best summer movies ever made, especially for kids. To me, is Ernest Goes to Camp. And Ernest obviously is on the summer list, the Halloween list, and the Christmas list, but especially the Christmas list. But Ernest Goes to Camp is probably the best of his movies, just all the way around. It's a great movie, and it's something that I may not watch every single summer all the way through, but I'm going to make the attempt. Because some of these movies I've seen hundreds and hundreds of times, and I do have some form of ADD. And, stuff happens, but it's right there with Great Outdoors. I'm going to make the attempt every year. Can't get my son into Ernest Goes to Camp, and it bums me out to no end. It really does. But like I said, I think it and Great Outdoors really hold those two top spots for just the best summer movies. For me, and we're going to talk later about movies that some people put on that I don't, and some movies that I don't watch all the time, but I consider good summer movies. But sticking with the ones I watch every year, Meatballs. Meatballs, I can't even really explain this. In a lot of ways, Meatballs may not be. It's definitely not Bill Murray's best movie. It's not the best movie ever. But a lot of my stuff's nostalgia, and it's something I watched every summer as a kid, and it's something that I'm going to probably make the attempt to watch I've already watched it this year 1.5 times. Once in the winter during, being laid off and the beginning of all this Rona. And then half of it already this summer. So, it's a movie that's probably going to get watched every year. Even though it's not my favorite Bill Murray and it's not my favorite summer movie, there's something about it that makes me think, Vacation. National Lampoon's Vacation is obviously, I think a lot of people would consider it the epitome of the summer movie. And it is completely designed that way. And it is a great movie. I just don't think it exceeds Great Outdoors. And being that I'm a huge Chevy fan, that's, hard for a lot of people to believe that. But Caddyshack, Great Outdoors, Ernest Goes to Camp, Meatballs, and Vacation are definites at least once a year. And the reason they're on the summer list is because that's when I really get into wanting to watch them. That's when they kind of get on my radar. And that's most of the time that's when I watch them. a movie that falls on that list is a movie that's always been hard for me to find. It's definitely a summer movie for me because when I was younger, we watched it every summer, me and my best friend and my brother, and it was just the end-all be-all to me when I was younger. And there's been years that I could stream it, there's been years that I couldn't, there's been years that I could find it bootleg and on different torrent apps, and there's years I just can't get it at all. But if I could have gotten it every year, it would have definitely been a summer movie for me every year. This year, I ordered a special edition 4K blah 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 Blu-ray, and it was pretty much summer when I got it, and I've watched it twice now, once in the summer, and that's Rad. Rad is a summer movie for me, and I know it's kind of a cult movie, and it's not a huge... If you've never seen Rad, I don't know what to tell you. If you're a fan of Rad, and you're a fan of BMX stuff, and it's a part of your childhood, look at this mine, I'm obsessed with it. But I can look at things objectively. If you took all those things out and I just watched it, God, it's a horrible movie in a lot of ways. It's a nostalgic thing. I don't want to tell you. Wet Hot American Summer is one of the few modern movies that's going to be on this, or at least probably the newest movie that's going to be on this. Yeah, probably the newest. But I think it's just a good comedy, and I like it, and it's a summer-based movie. I watch... To this point, which is not that old, I've come close to watching it every summer, but it definitely pops on my radar every summer, and it's definitely a movie that when I watch it, I think about summer, and it's something that I like to watch in the summer. A huge cast, great, just, I don't know, the TV show they come out with later, kind of like the sequel deal and the TV deal thing for Netflix, it was okay, it wasn't as good as the original, but the original, I don't know what it is, I like it, it's my type of thing. To me, Dazed and Confused is a summer movie. It's that last day of school. Just, I don't know. Such a great movie. So many great lines. So many great characters. McConaughey is 100% McConaughey in that movie. Like, dude's top notch. The little dude that's constantly doing the finger thing on his nose. There's so many parts of that movie that I just love. And I think of it as a summer movie. It's not a every summer watch, as far as me seeking it out. When we had cable or satellite, when I would flip through channels, it was on almost every summer, and I watched it almost every time I called it on. Now, if I'm going through and it pops up on one of my suggested, or if I'm just like, I want to watch a good summer movie, it's something I very easily may put on, and it is a movie I love. The next one's an obvious to me. Jaws. I don't know. That's a summer movie to me. I've actually had people be like, no, that's not really a summer movie. That's a Halloween movie. I understand it being scary for its time and people getting on how it's really more scary than these fake people. I get that. But it's a summer movie to me. It's not something I'm going to watch every year. So quotable. So many good lines and just so fun to watch. But it's got some dragging parts to me that just, I don't know. It's not something I can knock out every year, but I easily watch it every other year. Or, like I said, if it was something to where I still had TV and I would just catch it on here and there, I never turned it, I don't get into all the sequels. Not that they're bad. I don't know. I've really not seen, because I won't say there's multiples. I've only seen one, and it just wasn't my thing. From here on out on my list is probably going to be kind of weird for some people, because I've had people be like, yeah, that's not really a summer movie, when I get into a couple of these. What About Bob is a summer movie to me, and I'm, a lot of people don't know What About Bob, so I don't really get that from them. What About Bob is a summer movie to me, and it is a movie that easily, I could probably watch every year. I don't. I think sometimes I sleep on it and forget about that movie. I love that movie. I'm a huge Bill Murray fan to begin with, but that's a great movie. And What About Bob? It's a movie that, it's a cringe movie that can make you cringe and get you so tore up and so aggravated, but it's such a good movie. And to me, it's full-fledged a summer movie. Now, when I was younger, I remember in the summers right before school started back, going back a long ways, two movies that I would see on TV a lot, it seemed like, were Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. And so I've always, to some degree, associated them with being summer movies, and I've always just watched them. Watch them anytime I catch them on. I think the argument could easily, sensibly be made that Young Frankenstein is a Halloween movie. But I don't know. And I've watched it at Halloween time. I'm not ruling it out for that. But it reminds me of my childhood for some reason, and watching that when I was younger. And so I consider those two on that list, along with What About Bob? And Blues Brothers. When I think Blues Brothers, for whatever reason, I think summer movie. And I watch it in the summers, and I watch it basically every year. Especially a couple years in a row there, we would watch it, at least most of it, multiple times, because of some of the dance scenes, the singing stuff my son kind of got into, and we would goof around with and mess around with. But it's a movie, when I watch it, I think summer, and I love it. But as far as my list went, just stuff that I really are important movies to me that I could think of off the top of my head, was Fletch, I'm sorry, not Fletch. That's different. Caddyshack, Great Outdoors, Ernest Goes to Camp, Meatballs, Blues Brothers, Vacation, Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, Wet Hot American Summer, What About Bob, Jaws, Dazed and Confused. Now, there's 3 movies not on that list, and I got curious to see where people rank certain movies and things of that nature. There's 3 movies not on that list, and you got to understand, that's not the only movies I associate with summer or watch in the summer. That's just the big ones that you're going to catch me watching the most. And really, Jaws was just because it's such an iconic movie. Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles because I had a story to go with them, So they're not even really that high up on the list. Caddyshack, Great Outdoors, Ernest, and Meatballs, and Vacation are... that's the main movies. But 3 movies I've seen on a bunch of lists that I kind of checked out that aren't on mine, that are good movies, but they're not movies that I rewatch very often. One is Dirty Dancing. It's not a horrible, it's a good movie for the most part, especially, to be an 80s movie. I love 80s movies. It's just not my thing, and I don't think summer when I watch it, but when I seen it on that list, I see where that comes in, and I was like, okay, I see that, and I appreciate that. It's just, it deserves an honorable mention, no doubt. It's just not going to be on my list. Follow that right back up with another one of his movies, another Patrick Swayze. Point Break was on a lot of lists. That's a great movie. That is a really good movie, but it's not a feel-good movie to me, and I like feel-good movies for summertime. And I don't think summer when I watch it. I just think, man, it's a good movie, good cast, everything's good about that movie. But I don't think summertime when I think of that movie. Stand By Me. I understand where this gets on summertime list. I don't think of it in that terms. Great movie. It's not something I'm going to watch every year summertime, but a great, great movie. A great movie. Now, there's some stuff that still goes kind of with my list that's not a every summer thing, but it's pretty daggone frequent. Summer Rental with Gibbs from NCIS, only TV show I ever watched, I think, like that, was the one with Gibbs on it, because I like Gibbs' character. But it had Mark Harmon, I think's his name, and then I think it's the Christy Alley, is that her name? Beautiful Eyes. I can't remember her name. But it's just a fun movie. I like it. And it's something that every 2-3 years, something like that, I'm going to be like, Summer Rental, and I'm going to watch it. May watch it 2 or 3 years in a row. It's just I'm not going to seek it out as hard as I do Great Outdoors or something. Sandlot. Sandlot is a movie I used to watch almost every summer. Just kind of burnt myself out on. It's a kid's movie to a lot of, I guess, as far as it's there's no vulgarity or anything, but it's just a great movie all around. It's a good movie, and if you've never seen it, you should definitely watch it. It's just, I kind of burnt myself out on it, and there's not enough there to bring me back to it constantly, but every once in a while, I'll check a little something out on it. I've got it on Blu-ray, I may go through and watch it occasionally, but it's definitely not going to be an every summer thing. It just doesn't work that way. I was wrong a minute ago. when I said Summer Rental, I meant Summer School. That's Mark Harmon and Christy Alley. Summer Rental is John Candy. It's probably one of my least favorite John Candy films, and I don't watch it very often. It's good. It's okay, but it's not like... I'll watch it every once in a while just for the nostalgia effect of it, but it's not on my list. But that Summer Rental is John Candy. Summer School is Mark Harmon and Christy Alley. Weekend at Bernie's is just a funny, goofy movie, and I think summertime when I watch it, and I like it. Again, I'm not going to watch it every year, maybe not every 2 or 3 years, but, you know, if I go, I ain't watched it in a couple of years, I may throw it on. Like, it's a good movie. I got it on VHS. I believe I still got it on DVD. It's a great movie. I like it. It's a fun, goofy summer movie. I like it. Major League. When I think summer, I think baseball. And when I think baseball, I think the Wild Thing. Major League is an excellent, excellent summer movie to me. I love it. Again, when I had TV, it's something I watched every year. I mean, because it was constantly on, and same with the sequel. Like, it would come on a lot. And it's just a good movie, and I love to watch it. Another movie in that same vein is Bad News Bears. And I'm talking about the real Bad News Bears. And the Bad News Bears with Tokyo or whatever it is, or Japan, whatever it is. Like, those movies were good. And I would see them on TV a lot. I've never bought them on Blu-ray or DVD or VHS or anything. I probably would take them on Blu-ray or DVD if I found them. Just to watch the original Bad News Bears occasionally. What happened was they made the sequel. And those things used to be all over TV. And I watched them every time they were on. Even if I didn't go all the way through them. I loved them. I thought they were hilarious. But not the sequel. Then they made the remake. And... I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I don't remember it enough. Because I tried to watch it twice and it just didn't do it for me. And I just didn't. It's not my thing. So I just don't. I don't want to watch it. And that can't, like, that's what you see all the time. So, but to me, the original Bad News Bears is a great movie. There's a movie called Lords of Dogtown. It's about the Zephyr Skate Crew and Peralta and those guys. Like, that's just a good movie to me, and I love it. I absolutely love it. In a movie that I didn't put on my list, that it reminds me of summer so much, and I saw it for the first time this year, that just I really love. Jonah Hill wrote a movie called Mid-90s, and oh man, I love that movie so much. Like, it's not, I don't know, man, it's not a feel-good, happy, jokey comedy, but it's so good, and I love it. And Lords of Dogtown or whatever, that's I'm blanking on the name. Those are two movies that I love. I mean, I just love, that aren't super comedies. I remember being younger. I remember the first time I ever seen this movie. And the first time I ever seen it, I rented it. I watched it on VHS. And it was in the summer. And it was The Burbs. And I just liked The Burbs. But even though it's kind of got a weird, not horror, but, almost Halloween-y vibe to it. It still takes place in the summer, and it's a summer movie to me, and it feels summery to me, and it's one of them things that every once in a while I'm like, man, I'd like to watch The Burbs. And usually when I do that, it's in the summer. Same thing with Money Pit, another movie of his. It's usually in the summer if I'm going to watch that. A lot of 80s movies makes me feel that way. Like, for some reason, whatever it is, like, I don't know, I can't put my finger on it, but what's the Kevin Bacon movie? I'm completely blanking here. Footloose. Footloose is like a summery beginning of school for some reason in my head is how I think of that movie. But Burbs has always been kind of a summery movie to me. There was a time when I was younger, there was this movie called Airborne. I thought that was going to be my summer movie for a while, but it wasn't a very good movie. That may be one of Seth Green's first times I remember Seth Green, like, to any As far as me, myself, remembering him and thinking back, I don't know. I just watched this movie with my son and wife the other night. My daughter wasn't home, but she probably wouldn't have sat through it. And the lip balm line is something I'm always breaking down on my wife. But my son loved the movie. My wife's always liked the movie. And it's always been like a summer movie to me. It's not something I watch every year, but it's definitely a movie that I like, that puts me in mind of summer. And that's Three Amigos. I love Three Amigos. I remember all through grade school and stuff, and even in high school, doing their little salute, I guess it is. And most people had no idea what that was. I guess it was for people older than me, maybe got into it more than I did, but I love it, and it makes me think summer for sure. The next 4 movies are movies that, well, let's do it like this. The next 2, Fletch and Fletch Lives. I'm going to watch these movies probably multiple times a year. I know for a fact I've seen Fletch once this year already. I've seen Fletch Lives twice. They're just 2 of my favorite movies. But they do, especially Fletch, remind me more of summer. And Fletch is something that I will watch. It'll kind of pop up in the summer, and I'll be like, I want to watch Fletch. Or if I see it, I'll be like, it reminds me of summer. He is on the beach and things. He's in California. But even with Fletch Lives, it feels like summer to me. And I don't know. They have that feel to me. Now the next 2 movies are movies that remind me of summer. I don't really watch these movies. I'm not big fans of these movies, but I'm gonna tell you kind of the significance of these movies, and maybe this is what kind of influenced me to making them summer movies. But I'm young. I know this is pre-8th grade. Probably 7th. I don't know. 7th, 8th grade somewhere. My stepdad gets this, at that time, my first stepdad, gets this big, home sound system, like surround sound for, he was big into movies like me, and he gets this big surround sound thing, and when he gets it, this dude's like, there's these 2 movies you gotta watch with your surround sound system. I guess this was, according to this guy, or at least maybe this was well known to other people as well. These 2 movies you gotta check out when you get a surround sound system. And so he gets these 2 movies, he brings them home, and that night, the first night, we've got all the speakers hooked up in the living room and stuff, and he brings these 2 movies home, and the 2 movies we watch are Days of Thunder and Top Gun. And I mean, I was blown away, man. The jet takes off, and it's like it's behind your head, and they're racing around the track. And I'd seen those movies before in the summer, and that was in the summer, and I don't know. I've just always associated those as summer movies, even though they're not big, huge movies that I constantly watch and things of that nature. I don't know. If you're not a huge movie person, I gave you my list. There's some honorable mentions, some stuff that was on other lists, some stuff that I was kind of, send me if you are a big movie person, send me the emails back. Look, this is what I'm into, because we're going to do this with the Halloween and the Christmas editions of these lists. I'm going to get other people's kind of input. But send me your list. I kind of like to know what your summer movies are. There's 2 people that listen. I'd really like to know, what Brad and Mug think. Like, what's your summer movies, if you hear this? There's one that I was on the fence about putting on the list, and this is the thing is, I think it's probably is a summer movie in a lot of regards. To a lot of people, like I think to my best friend, it would have been a summer movie, and I think to our friend Mandy, it would be maybe, I don't know how she would kind of look at it, but to me it was a winter movie, because I watched it a lot when I was stuck inside in the winter. And me and my stepdad watched it a lot in the winter. And that's Wayne's World. But I almost put it on here because me and my buddy Ert would watch it. You know, I've watched it with him 2 times. That was in the winter. I mean, in the summer. And I don't know. It's got a summery feel to it at times. I don't know. I was just always... Dumb and Dumber's another one I almost put on. Ace Ventura's another one I almost put on. But I'm really going to watch those movies any time of year. That's just me. A lot of times, like, people will be like, man, what's a good movie? Or, you know, what do you... Like, if I had to recommend something off of my list of stuff I watch every year, that's Caddyshack, Great Outdoors, Ernest, Meatballs, and Vacation. If you've got kids, I'm going to suggest Ernest. Sit down and watch Ernest with them. That's the movie. If you're looking for just a good comedy, you know, I'm going to suggest Great Outdoors or Vacation. I think those are the 2 best, just best all-around movies out of those. If you're a little more like into modern stuff, like I don't know a lot, I would probably go with Wet Hot American Summer. Like I said, great cast. It's a funny movie. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of modern stuff I'm missing. And the problem is, I don't think I put modern movies into these types of categories anymore. Like, they're still, like, I love a lot of modern movies, but I just kind of watch them. I think a lot of this is tied to my youth, and that's why I constantly redo it. As far as the stuff that I didn't mention, almost every list I looked at had Dirty Dancing, Point Break, and Stand By Me. And for adults and people looking for more serious movies and things like that, those 3 movies are no-brainers. Like, I mean, yeah, those are great movies. They're just not stuff I watch every single year, but they're great movies. I'm always going to say, if you've never seen Fletch, see Fletch. You know, I mean, that's... I don't think everybody's going to like it. And, hey, if you got surround sound, you got to watch Days of Thunder and Top Gun. I mean, everybody knows that. Again, not my favorite movies. I prefer Hot Shots. And Hot Shots Part 2. But, I mean, hey, those very well could be summer movies. You know, now I have to go back and think about it. It's just not something I'm going to watch every summer. But I like these lists, and I like this kind of stuff. It's more fun. Like, fun stuff's more fun to do. I don't know why that is, but it is. And it don't have to be some melancholy and unhappy. And but if you don't, you know, I don't know what people like when they listen to this podcast. I don't know if they like these types of episodes. So if you like these types of episodes, let me know. Because we're going to talk about comedy coming up. And we've done one in the past, but it was a more serious one about what you can't say. And, yeah. We're not going to get serious with this one. With this one, we're just going to talk about my favorite comedy movies and comedians and things of that nature. And like I said, these aren't big, in-depth things. It's just fun conversation starters. And you can listen and go, hey, I agree with that, or I like this, or I like that, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. Whatever it is. You know, it just gives us the opportunity to learn a little bit about each other, especially if you email me back and let me know your list. Wow. This blew by pretty quick. I like I said, it's calming. I really enjoy these, and they're a little bit shorter. My book's out, and you know where to get it at. There's only one place to get it. Get it at Red Spotted Note. Yeah. She'll ship it to you. If she runs out, she can let me know, and I'll order more, and we'll sell them. And the signing's off for now, and I don't know. I'm just happy. I'm just in a good mood, and I'm mellow. And we're probably going to do a podcast about being mellow here pretty soon, too. Kind of a little switch in philosophy I had. I like the little philosophy podcast where I talk about how I felt about things, and I feel differently now. And yeah, y'all probably hate them, but you got to take the good with the bad. I mean, it's just the way it works. Don't suck, don't die, and be good to each other.